So that's what your quiz is going to be on, combinations of transformations. I want you to look at this. This is your first figure, DEF to D prime, E prime, F prime, to the last one, your final image. So if today on the quiz I asked you to do two things with this, this might be what it would look like. You plot the original, then you'd give me this one and the final one. What looks like happens from DEF, if I'm looking at that, to get to D prime, E prime, F prime, Aaron? Looks like we are, if we are looking at our transformation, so we want to put a reflection over the y-axis. Now, this is like some of those last questions in our homework, and then I've had people look at this and say, oh, well, now I know there's a size change. And I had some people put down, oh, it's like a size change of 2 or 3. And here's what I want you to be aware of when you look at these. You might not know exactly what the size change is, so you might want to write down what are your points. And the point for D prime is located where? If we go 2 to the left, it is at -2, 0, right? So yesterday after doing that target, hopefully your plotting of your points is getting better. And D prime, D double prime, is at -3, 0. What did I multiply -2 times to get -3? And here's what you might want to be thinking. We know that there's a size change, so we know it's a dilation, okay? We know it's a dilation. We're trying to figure out what K is. Now, it might be easier if you look at point E. Where is point E located? Point E was located at -1 and up 3, right? -1 and 3. And E double prime looks like it's located where? 4. Thank you. E double prime looks like it's located where? -1.5 and 6. So what am I taking -1 times to get -1.5? What is my size change? K has to be, yes, 1.5. Has to be 1.5. I had someone else say, if we only looked at these 2 points down here, you might be thinking -2 times K equals, how do you get -3? And if you divide both sides by -2, this also gives you 1.5. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do that in today's quiz, right? I would tell you to multiply by 1.5. I would give you this information and ask you to start here. So today's quiz looks a lot like this one. I want you to look at this one. We're going to do these. There's 3 of them. The first 2 we'll do together. The last one I'm going to have you do on your own. It says, first thing, rotate 90 degrees. 90, does that mean counterclockwise or clockwise? Counter. So we are looking at this point B, and I still look at that, and today on my quiz, I might be thinking, oh, counterclockwise. That means this way, right? No, it doesn't. It means I'm turning it up this way, right? So it might be helpful when you're taking your quiz to think once you plotted that first one, where should it end up? So B was over at 2, 0. It's now going to be up at 0, 2, right? So this point is moving directly 90 degrees. And once I get that 1 point, it's kind of easy to say, okay, from B to A, they're 4 points apart. So A has to be over at, my A prime has to be at 4, 2, right? It was at -2. This was at -2, -4. When I rotate it, it is going to be at 4. If we are looking at that, we're still going to be looking at our +2 takes the opposite, okay? And if we look at that picture, does that look like we rotated at 90?
Yes.
C is at 1, -1.
Yes.
So again, I might put C prime. And the question I had someone ask me is, what if I don't list my points? Is it going to be wrong? That one quiz, it was if you didn't list the points. This one, I just need you to draw it on today's quiz, okay? So we get that first one. It then says reflected over the y-axis. How are you doing this with us, please, in your notes? You don't have your notes. You don't have a pencil. I have a pen back here. Come grab it. So if we are rotating this over, it says reflected over the y-axis. That means my A I'm going to look at this y-axis, and A is 4 units away. My A prime is. I'm going to put A double prime over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have A double prime if I'm looking at that. C double prime should be at this point. And I'm connecting that. The B double prime stays in the exact same spot. Now, today, if you didn't grab a straight edge when you came in, you could also use the edge of your flashcard or the back of your workbook. Scale factor of 0.5. That means everything's shrinking, right? We're getting 0.5 smaller. So if this was at -1, +1, it's now going to be right here in the middle, right? It's going to be at -1/2 and up 1/2. This was at 0.2, it's now going to be at 0.1. This was over at 4.2, it's now going to be at 2.1. And then what I might want to do is either shade in this final one. I might want to label the points with C triple prime. This was our A triple and our B triple. Okay? I don't care if you highlight at the end or you kind of shade in on the test. Now, one of the questions on the quiz is going to be a straight line, so it's kind of hard to shade it in. So I had some people circle their answer. So if we are trying this one, we're going to multiply each one by 2.5. So since you didn't plot this one, try and plot this one with us. Multiply each point by 2.5, which means K should now be over at 2.5. It was at 1, right? So that's kind of nice. J was at 1, 1. It's now going to be at 2.5, over 2.5, and up 2.5. Yes, directly in the middle of that. Some of you that aren't writing anything, please plot this with us if you're not plotting. We'll wait for you. It told us to start with multiplying everything by 2.5. So we now have this same kind of like hat house shape. It then says rotate 180. That means all the points become just the opposite, right? So if I wanted to plot H and it was up 5, now I'm going to go directly down 5. So please go down 5, right? If K was over 2 to the 2.5 to the right, we are now going to go 2.5 to the left. That gives us a K double prime. This is our H double prime. And 2.5, 2.5 gives us J right in the middle. Last step says do what with it? X plus 1 means to move it to the right 1, plus 3 tells us to go up 3. I would like you to do that right now with your picture. And as you are looking at that, we want to be thinking, all right, are the figures congruent or similar? Did we have a size change? No. Right away. That makes them similar. Why? Because we had a size change. We had a dilation. Okay. As we are taking a look at the orientation, did we have any reflections? Any reflections? Scale factor, rotate, translate, no. So our orientation is the same. Our orientation was the same because we had no reflections. So on the picture back here, this one should have switched orientations, right? Our orientation had to switch because we had a reflection, one reflection. This one also was similar, right? We didn't put that down. This one is also similar. So if we are looking at our picture, hopefully your final picture looked like that one with the black, right? So from where we were working, we had to move it over 1 and up 3, okay? So today's quiz looks kind of like this. You're just doing the 3 or 4 different things after you plot your points, and I think each one is 3 each time after you plot it. So what I would like you to do for the arrow right now, please do that one on your own. Please do that. I'm sure that that's kind of making sense to you. When you finish the quiz today. Again, you're going to notice, just like in today's homework, that this last part of giving the statement, that is the first answer that's written right behind number 1. So someone said, what do you mean I have to write this statement? I don't get the statement. I'm not looking for you to do a huge amount with the statement. It doesn't have to be like a paragraph. It just has to be something like, it was congruent because there was no size change. It is, the orientation is the same because there was no reflection on it, as we are looking at those, okay? So, again, when I'm talking about that statement, this is the statement. It's the first thing that we give you in your answers. That's all your statement has to be like when you are looking at those, okay?